6 about to start at Woodville Oval. And both sides victorious last week. Big Reynolds in the ruck. He's won the tap. Ball came back towards Reynolds. Whittlesey in there being tackled by Haylock. Now the ball kicked forward. Taken by John Martin. His kick is a check side kick towards centre half forward. And a fine mark being taken there by David Eye.
David Ikin played so well last week in their victory against West Torrens.
He certainly did. David in the back pocket. He was a fine player. Merv Kane said it was probably his best game for the Sturt Football Club. And this fella, Moss Guinea, had a great game as well. And that's a good kick, and it's been taken by Russell. Russell bolts, straightens the body. He'll have to use the left boot. It's a well-dispatched kick over the head of Kitski. Moves towards the boundary line, and there'll be a throw in the left forward pocket. Only 1 minute into this game.
Kim Russell had the opportunity of going for the open goal. He chose to ignore it, looking for Ian Wilmot up forward. Unfortunately, the ball is out of play. Throw-in comes back in. It's Libas versus Kitski. Kitski down to Klomp, the tap. Now bursting his way through is Deluna, but the ball's beaten him across the line and out of play. And Kim, certainly conditions a little wet here for football today.
Well, a little bit heavy, David. The sun is out at the moment, though, and slight breeze about. So if we don't have any more rain, I would imagine the grounds would... The middle is heavy, but the rest of the oval could end up being pretty good.
Kitski it was with the ball. He shot it out wide onto Painter, who had a snap at goal on the left foot, but he's found Wilmot diving in front. Wilmot has the mark. This could be a good opening for the Double Blues. They finished the game last week against West Torrens in fine style. They were 28 points down at the 10-minute mark of the final term, and they stormed home to win by 3 points. This is just what Merv Kane would have wanted. Wilmot lines up from point-blank range, pops it right through the middle. That's Wilmot first. A good start to the Double Blues.
It certainly is, and it was that man, John Painter, again. He was in magnificent touch last week against the Eagles. He had 25 kicks and 15 handballs, and he's just managed to get his first kick today. It was a hurried kick away, and it was taken by Wilmot, who had front position in front of Rogers, and he made no mistake from about 12 metres out. Great start to the Double Blues.
Yes, they've got Rogers minding Wilmot today. That could be a fine duel. One we'll watch with some concern. Ball back in the centre. It has to be thrown up out of that glue pot. Reynolds it was with a tap. It went down to Randall Jolly. He got a quick kick forward. McCarthy got the tap away, however. It went wide. Darren Grant with the left foot kick forward. Dropping back onto that is Peter Reid. He has the mark and pulled back. Reid goes to the outer side. Underneath that one's Big Reynolds. He's taking the rucking responsibilities for Sturt. He's done it well. Now called to play on. He goes through the centre. No one home for the Double Blues. Now an opportunity for Haylock. He shot out the handball wide to Jolly, who was running. Handball in turn went wide. Templeton it was. He decides to go back short looking for Harris, but it's over. His head to John Painter comes in and marks. Now Painter wastes no time. He places out wide. Lunn, the 50-game player for Woodville, was in front. Now thrown out wide. Matt Benson on the wing, dives on top of it. He's been pushed in the back, and the umpire's seen the infringement. Matt Benson has the free kick. He played so well last week. Long towards centre half forward. Darryl Smith there bursting out Kitski. Nobody could take the mark. An opportunity for Klomp. Now Jolly throws out the handball wide. O'Dwyer. In fact, Jolly gets the kick forward. It's a good kick too, deep into the forward zone. Dropping back on us McCarthy. He got a hand to it. In fact, now the Double Blues are called to play on. There was a free kick there, but they've elected to take the advantage through Underwood to Smith. Now Smith has a paddock in which to move, but no leads forthcoming. Now Wilmot on the lead. That's the way he goes. Over Wilmot's head, and Rogers has the mark and pull back.
Andrew Rogers having a fine season. Kicks out wide to Panizza, and so is this man. He's been in great touch on the centre wing for the Warriors this year. Finds Templeton. Now Templeton probably not playing with the zest that he had last year. He was a fine player last year, just struggling a little bit for form as Fuller drives that in long, and there's Taylor.
They placed that kick very well, Kim.
Andrew Taylor about 55 metres out, perhaps 60 metres from the goal. The kick is high, plenty of distance, and punched over the line, and that's the first score to Woodville. They're on 1 point, and Sturt lead on 1 goal.
Good defensive work on that occasion by Peter Reid. Big thump away came. Darren Grant was underneath that one, looking dangerous. Reid punched it through for one behind. Now the kick grandstand side is well placed for Whittlesey. State squad member gets out the handball to Field. Now Field conversed his way down centre wing. He elects, however, to kick it off. He's placed it to Smith at centre half forward, onto McCarthy down from centre half back. The kick's well put to Wilmot. He's up and he's got it, Wilmot. Oh, it's Wilmot's second mark, so he's starting the game well. 55 metres out, he could certainly score. He's a nice kick for goal. That one, however, is not well placed. Towards the edge of the 10-yard square, Lunn is up and has the mark. Now Lunn plays on to Fantasia. He put Fantasia under a little bit of pressure. Now Panizza covering plenty of ground from his wing. Down in the back pocket, grandstand side to Fuller. Whittlesey, the big thump away. Now Field, he has to go quickly on the left foot. Wilmot's underneath this one. Kitski too. Wilmot couldn't take the mark. He brought it to ground, however, and there'll inevitably be a ball up. Well, Kim, I thought Wilmot may have been paid that. He had 2 grabs at it. He at least brought it to ground.
Not quite enough of it for mine, David. That second grab was pretty loose as Kitski's back in the ruck. Tap comes down towards Russell. Russell's quick kick away once again goes out of bounds in that left forward pocket for the Blues. Been a fine start by Sturt too. Plenty of pace, prepared to run at all cost.
Yes, they've had the ball deep in their forward zone for most of this quarter. They've certainly opened the game in fine styles. The ball comes back into play. It's Kitski versus Livis. Livis it was with a tap down to Klomp. He was tackled as he went to get rid of the ball. Now Delena a snap at goals. It's got across the face, however. Wilmot's underneath that one, so too Rogers. Wilmot does well to keep the ball in the area.
6 minutes gone in this first quarter. That's umpire Michael Abbott. Kitski fronts position. The ball comes out towards Russell. Russell roving today. We saw him on the wing last week. Taps that out towards Smith. Smith's handball was blocked. That Jolly was looking what to do with the ball before he actually picked it up. His kick is high. Fuller leads in the chase, gets into the second grab. Now the handball over towards Haylock. Haylock back looking for Parker, over the head of that player. And through comes Moskeny to take the ball over the line. And David Frost, of course, is playing his 100th game of league football. He had 66 with Sturt, 34 with Glenelg, so that's a fine effort to David Frost.
Yes, he's been a great player for the Double Blues since transferring from the Tigers. Now Fuller, he tried to get off the handball to Jolly, who was met solidly by Whittlesey. Kevin Harris wearing the head guard today. Handballs off to John Martin, tackled. Now Field shoots off the handball to Painter. A long one, well placed to Moskeny. Moskeny's kick is under plenty of pressure. Oh, flying high for the big Marcus Fantasia, and that was a screamer in these conditions. Oh, he flew high. He had his name written all over that ball. Now Fantasia to Parker, over his head. Underwood. The handball out of the glue pot, in fact back into the glue pot. Benson couldn't get it, stolen by Schwartz. Now on to Templeton. He can go goal, but there's no one home in the goal square. The kick, however, couldn't carry. Eye shot off the handball looking, but however he's received a free kick. David Eye played very well last week, and as Kim Dillon told you, Merv Kane rated his best game for the Double Blues, so certainly in fine form. Benson couldn't mark it. Russell was tackled when not in possession. It rebounds to Panizza, who places the ball wide. Out on the lead is Stephen Nichols, and the full forward has the mark. Now, he kicked 5 goals last week, Stephen Nichols. He hasn't been in outstanding form this year. He still has 22 goals from 5 games. Not a bad result, but I think the Woodville supporters are expecting a little better of him. Nichols lines it up. Could this be goal number 1 for the day? It's offline and through for 1 behind.
Yes, in fact, Stephen Nichols kicked 5-3 last week, and he certainly does look a better player when playing in front of the goal. Of course, that's full forward. We've seen him in the forward pocket, and I don't think he appreciated not being the focal point in recent weeks. Kick out towards side, being well taken by Taylor. Taylor's second mark for the day. Now, I would suggest he's too far out to score.
Oh, Kim, I think he can make the distance from there. He's a beautiful kick.
At 55 metres out. Plenty of distance. In fact, Dave Mackay's right. He made the distance easily. He's aided by a breeze. I'd say probably about a 2 to 3 goal breeze. And Woodville now move on to 3 points. Yet to kick a goal, and Sturt are on 1 goal.
But at least the Warriors are doing some attacking into their forward zone now, Kim. Double Blues had all the play in the first 5 minutes. The Warriors are never beaten. Max Parker takes a strong mark. So even though conditions are wet today, it appears that ball's going to stick when the players get their hand around it. Parker goes onto the left foot. His kick is high into the forward line. Benson's there for the Double Blues and has the mark. Benson also covering plenty of ground. He's playing at centre wing today. Heinrich's kick wasn't well placed. It found Smith. Back to Frost. Frost, the natural left footer, goes wide and has Painter. So they're using the ball well, the Double Blues. They're distributing it well. Painter holds the ball. The running player coming down off the back flank was Moskeny. Under plenty of pressure, he couldn't get the kick away. Now Russell an opportunity, also under pressure. The Warriors' defence is certainly very desperate. And now the ball up is enforced. We played just on 9.5 minutes into this first term. 3 points the Warriors, 1 straight goal the Double Blues.
Reynolds to do the ruck work. Parker front position. Ball comes to ground out the direction of Sturt, who's starting on the ground today. Oh, great handball, Ralph Sturt. Backs to Lund. Lund's kick is very high. Underneath that, Benson. Taylor was up as well. Smith in there. Players diving on top of the ball. Now the ball came out towards Schwartz, taken by Templeton. He started this game off well. His kick out looking for Harris, but the mark has been well taken by Heinrich. Peter Heinrich, thrown into the forward lines late last week. Now back into his regular back pocket position. There's a high tackle there, and the free kick will go the way of Matt Benson. And Benson was a fine player last week. He picked up 25 kicks off his wing. His kick towards centre-half forward, looking for Klomp. Klomp should be first to the ball. In fact, Frost chips in first, paddles the ball forward. Does so again. Now tries to tap it towards Delina. He was pushed in the back. Play on the call. This allows Chris Toovey, who's playing centre-half back today for the Warriors, to get the clearing kick. The mark was taken by McCarthy, but there was an infringement, a push in the back towards Taylor. Andrew Taylor a long way down the ground. Plenty of distance once again with that kick. Peter Reid, game 101, fisted that away. Heinrich gets the crumbs. Underneath that, Frost, and he possibly could have gone a little bit harder at that one as Fuller took an easy mark.
Yes, Kim, I think there was very little talk behind him. He wasn't sure whether to go or not. Fuller's kick is well placed towards full forward. The handball came out from Reid to Heinrich, who sold the dummy well. Back to I. Now, I has very few options in which to go to. John Martin sitting underneath that one has the mark. And Frost did well then because Martin was off. He was unfortunately given away a 15-metre penalty, but for mine, John Martin was off and Frost had no alternative.
Exactly.
Martin out wide, goes the kick, and he's found Schwartz.
Well, David, I don't know about you, but I think that breeze is freshening up.
Yes, it's certainly strengthened in the last moment or two. Now Schwartz is about 55 metres out. The distance might be a problem for him. He's not a really long kick, and that one's found him out just a little bit. He had to drag it just short and through for one behind. There's a couple of interesting moves, Kim. It looks to me like Ralph Sewer and Gary Haylock are roving, and that would be an unusual role for Ralph in recent times.
Well, in recent times he's been playing off the bench, but it does appear that way, and Kevin Harris and Schwartz are ruck roving. Ball comes out to ground, taken by Heinrich. That was a high tackle. A play on advantage should be called. It's done so. Unfortunately, Whittlesey couldn't capitalise. Now he does so with a great soccer off the ground. Alex Lund, the ever reliable, paddles the ball forward. Harris with his first touch. Have a look at him. Well, he looks a fearsome character with that helmet on. Left foot kick. It's 2-on-1. Taylor front position. McCarthy with the spoil. Down towards Grant, playing off a half-forward flank. Moskeny. Well done, a great player last week, and the kick out towards Delina, couldn't hold that. Great spoil, Alex Lund.
Yes, desperate work by Lund. Receiving the cheers of the Woodville supporters, he did that very well. Great desperate football. Alex Lund, of course, playing his 50th game for the Warriors today, and he'd be very keen to do well. Parker with the tap, went down towards Sewer. He did well to come out with the ball, Ralph. His handball wasn't well placed. Moskeny found it, pushed it off to Underwood. Now Underwood drives forward, it's close to the boundary line, and Lund punches it across before it goes out of play. In fact, Alex Lund was calling for the free kick from the full, but the throw-in will take place right on centre wing.
Parker opposed to Reynolds. Parker front position. Won the tap nicely, down towards Russell. He couldn't control it. Out the back door, Schwartz had an opportunity. Painter taps it forward. Now soccers the ball forward, out towards Kemp Russell. He's flanked by Whittlesey. Whittlesey drives long, but he didn't lift the eyes. And that mark will be taken by big Terry Livers, resting in a back pocket.
Well, you're right, Kim. He didn't lift his eyes, Whittlesey. He had Kitschke on the lead, well clear. All he had to do was place it in front of the big fellow, and Kitschke could have had a shot for goal. But John Painter it was who got those important taps out. That gave the Double Blues an opportunity. Now Panizza coming wide to Templeton. Templeton has plenty of space in which to move. Places it wide. Flying high was Taylor. He couldn't gather in the mark. That's a great duel between McCarthy and Taylor. The kick is high. Underneath that one, Schwartz and Field. Schwartz it was who got the tap forward. Now Max Parker. Wide to Panizza. Panizza quickly to Sewer. Well placed. Sewer plays on cleverly. The running player is Michael Templeton. Now Templeton can line up the goals. It's over the head, however, of Stephen Nichols. Running the ball across the line as David Eye, and the throw-in will take place.
Well, I said Michael Templeton has been a little bit quiet this season, but geez, opened up today very well. That's his 5th kick, and we're only at the 15-minute mark of this first quarter. Woodville on 4 points, Sturt 1 goal, 2-point advantage to the Blues. Underwood with a big tap, went straight down to Moskeni and turned to Painter. Rare disposal mistake by Painter, and overran by Panizza. Has time to recover. Now gets an awkward left foot kick out in the direction of Fuller. Now Fuller's got beautiful ball skills. He did that magnificently. The kick on the way, drifting across to the left-hand side. It was a great passage of play. So the Warriors still unable to goal. They're now on 5 points. Sturt 1 goal.
Kim, how this game's changed already. It was the Double Blues doing all the attacking in the opening 5 minutes. For the last 10, it's been all the Warriors in their forward zone. Heinrich driving long. In fact, the Double Blues are kicking into a slight breeze. Reynolds couldn't gather in that mark. He tried to thump it away. Ralph Sewer ditched it forward. Now an opportunity for Whittlesey, and Whittlesey and Fuller already having a good duel. Sewer cleverly again out of trouble. Off to Parker. The short one over the top. He's found Schwartz. Now Schwartz will play on quickly. On the lead is Stephen Nichols. It was thumped away from him. Underwood back to Eye. Now they're coming across goals. No, they're not. John Painter, the link man. Moskeni starring already in this first quarter. Kick is long, out towards Delena. Lana gives him plenty of close attention. Now Ralph Sewer, another handball. He's been a dynamic player in the opening quarter, Sewer. So's Parker, so's Schwartz. So they're mobile players, the Warriors are doing everything right. No leads forthcoming. Schwartz holds the ball. Now elects to go long into the forward zone. Flying high was Andrew Taylor, and the ball was thumped away well from him by Tony McCarthy and out of play. Kim, that's certainly going to be a great duel to watch. Andrew Taylor and Tony McCarthy.
McCarthy had a good duel last week. In fact, he beat Shane McGrath. But we found out after the game that McGrath broke his thumb in the first quarter. Nonetheless, it's Harris bursting his way through the pack. The snapshot on its way. The score's locked away here at Woodville Oval. 17 minutes into this first quarter. Woodville have kicked 6 points. Sturt have 1 goal.
Yes, Robert Veal warming up on the boundary line, preparing to come on as Peter Reid brings the ball back into play. They're obviously going to make a change, the Double Blues. Taylor couldn't mark that, and Schwartz couldn't quite control it. Now Max Parker with another kick. Templeton, all he has to do is pick it up. He can have a shot at goal. He's getting plenty of attention from Heinrich. He did well to get himself clear, however. Pushed it off to Schwartz. Now Haylock it was who was looking for Ralph Sewer. Ralph converts his way through. He handballs over the top cleverly. John Martin goal. Good work, the Warriors. 1 goal, 6-12 points. Lead the Double Blues, 1 straight goal.
Well, that was great play by the veteran Ralph Sewer. We saw a bit of that characteristic zip and zap as he grabbed that ball. Got around his opponent. He could have had a snapshot for goal, but unselfish play by Ralph Sewer as he saw John Martin in the square. The handball went over the top, and John Martin made no mistake from only a metre out. Great play to Woodville. That's their first goal. 1-6, 12 points. They lead the Blues by 6 points.
Conditions are going to suit the small men today too. There's plenty of groundwork to be done. Max Parker in ruck. Kitski for the Double Blues. It was Parker with the tap. Whittlesey thumped it down. Getting out the handball was Haylock. Over to Darren Grant. Now Grant's kick is a long one into the forward zones. Stephen Nichols is there jostling, and he's pushed Reid off the ball and has the mark. The Double Blues were calling for a free kick. Yes, I think he could nearly mark this one down. He rarely misses. He's a very accurate kick for goal. In fact, Nichols has 22 goals, 9, so pretty good average. He starts it right with the breeze that comes back right through the middle. He rarely misses those ones, Stephen Nichols. That's his first for the day, the second for the Warriors.
And he really is a fine exponent of the art of kicking. Allowed for that breeze. Placed that ball slightly to the right-hand side of the post, and that was a great goal. And there certainly was a little bit of pushing in there, but Nichols did it well, and he got away with that. And 2 quick goals to the Warriors.
That's the benefit of moving the ball quickly. It gives your forwards a good opportunity to grab the ball. 1 goal straight the Double Blues. That was to Wilmot. 2 goals to the Warriors, John Martin and Stephen Nichols, their goal scorers. And then out of the glue pot comes Greg Whittlesey. You can see him there covered in mud. We'll have a bit more on him before the end of the day too. Parker down to Haylock, kick forward. Haylock gets those quick kicks. Templeton was held when not in possession. The free kick will go to him at centre half forward. He'll waste no time, Michael Templeton. Out wide looking for John Martin. Sewer's there, he'll do the shepherding. John Martin short, Fuller. Good possession, football the Warriors. Whittlesey, a late bit of attention there. He may give away a 15-metre penalty, and that's what's happened. Well, we're certainly there. This will improve Ronnie Fuller's opportunity of scoring a goal. He only has to put it up in front of the goals. It'll come back a little with the breeze. Ron Fuller is a good kick. That's the way he goes. He just sits it around. He started it too wide, however, in fact, it's gone out of bounds on the full.
Well, Ron Fuller normally is a very good kick, David, but that was a poor effort out of bounds on the full, and McCarthy will bring the ball back into play. You can see his kick pulling up in the breeze. Parker through with a big spoil. Haylock jumps on top of that, centres the ball well. Brilliant kick, in fact, a little bit high, but the placement was very good, and that's a fine defensive spoil by Peter Reid. 20 minutes gone, in fact 21 minutes gone. In fact, that spoil was Whittlesey, and we've had 21 minutes of this first quarter.
Yes, it was a good spoil by Whittlesey, Kim, a courageous one. In fact, he was running back into the pack, as was Ralph Sewer. I think if Whittlesey hadn't have spoiled that, Ralph would have had the mark. Heinrich, good thump away, gave himself an opportunity, but there's the masked warrior himself, Harris. Fuller over the top. The 1-2, Haylock to Harris. He dummied that well. Now he can line up the goals, Kevin Harris. That's the way he goes. Could he put it through? Oh, it's just offline. It deserved a goal. Unfortunately, it didn't go through, and that's Kevin Harris's second point for the quarter.
He certainly doesn't look pretty with that helmet on, but gee, hasn't he got a front-on approach to his football?
Not unlike Steve Curtis at Port Adelaide in that helmet, Kim.
Definitely right there, David. Both fierce competitors. The ball comes out towards Kitsky, having a run on the ball. Taken by Taylor. High tackle. In fact, it's holding the ball. Well, he did receive a high tackle, but I suppose you could say he ducked into it. So as we have mentioned on many occasions, as long as the umpires are consistent, there's no reason to complain. Ball comes out wide. Lund pushes the ball in front of him. Now it's Benson picked that one up, tried to tap it forward. Plump out there. So too is Painter. It'll be umpire Michael Abbott to bounce the ball once again.
Delina was who came up with that ball. Parker got the tap down. Painter, quick left foot kick forward. No one home. Lund was well shepherded on that occasion by Panizza. His kick went forward. Benson tried to claim the mark. Now Underwood's kick smothered. An opportunity here for the Warriors. Templeton back to Panizza following down. Taylor couldn't grab it. He spoiled Sewer, in fact, as he came through. There was no talk between those two players. Darryl Smith pulled off the ball. Oh, stolen by Schwartz. Handball came out. Templeton forward. It's a funny old kick. Oh, and he's got the mark, Stephen Nichols. Well, he was nowhere, out of position, and at the last moment he just snuck in to grab that mark. He did that very, very well. Stephen Nichols, 1 goal to his credit earlier this quarter. Lining up from 30 metres out. The breeze at his back, what there is of it. Right through the middle, he rarely misses those ones, Stephen Nichols. 2 goals already in this game for him.
Once again, it was Templeton. Absolute live wire on that half-forward flank, and he's opposed to a man that was in fine form last week in Underwood. The Templeton's kicker was a reverse punt, and it dropped fairly quickly considering the kick was aided by the breeze, and it was Nichols, the player, who read it the better, and he's now posted his second goal, and we're into time on in this first quarter. 26 plays 6. It's the Warriors by 20 points. The Double Blues, in fact, have only 1 goal scorer in Wilmot. As Benson picks the ball out of the glue pot in the centre, he drives forward. Lunn is there for the Warriors. Coming out as Libis on the charge. His kick is high in towards the centre of the field. Dropping back on that Kitsky, and Kitsky has the mark. He started the game in the forward pocket, Damien Kitsky. Now Rucky. Kick wide, looking for Benson. Panizza in front of him. Now Painter. Play on calls the umpire. The free kick was further back to Benson.
The double blues were allowed to play the advantage, and Reynolds has the mark on the left half forward flank. Wilmot dropping back in the goal square. There's no leads forthcoming. Reynolds holding the ball. Wilmot timing it, but Reynolds is going to have a shot for goal, certainly too far out to score. He'll lob that one right in the goal square. That's the way he goes. Painter couldn't gather the ball in. Now Fantasia, an opportunity. Took a magnificent mark midway through that first term. Parker stole the ball. Off to Templeton, playing well. Now Kevin Harris coming into the game. Thrown to ground as he disposed of it. No free kick. Darren Grant will have to go hard for that one. Now an opportunity for Schwarz. Frost tunnel balls it back to Whittlesey. The handball out to Kitschke. The long handball wide has found Moschini. Moschini in turn onto Heinrich down from the back pocket. Heinrich's kick is high into the forward line. Reynolds is there for the double blues. At the front, Libis. Now an opportunity for Delena. Onto the left foot he goes. He swings it back around, but not far enough, however, and through for one behind. So that's the double blues' first point for the day. 1 goal, 1 their score, trailing Woodville on 3 goals, 8.
Well, Delena got that ball onto his boot very quickly. Unfortunately, the accuracy wasn't there as Rogers brings the ball back into play. Loose checking by the Blues as he allows Lund to get the ball very easily. Lund's wobbly kick forward has been well taken by Chris Toomey. Toomey has Harris left unattended in the middle of the ground. Harris takes a fine mark on the second grab. Now Templeton wants the ball on the other side of the ground. There's no one near him. Completely unattended. Over the top to Martin. Back to Templeton. The Warriors starting to run. Templeton chances his arm. Now kicks long. Oh, it's Martin. Fell over the ball. Foul team. In fact, it's been kept. It's been taken over the line. Well, how incredible was that? In fact, it wasn't. I'm not sure if it was Martin or not. I think it was Haylock. Well, he lost his footing. He was all by himself. It would have been a certain goal. An amazing event here at Woodville Oval as Haylock tried to crawl backwards on his bottom.
Well, I think you can feel sorry for Gary Haylock, Kim. That was me down there. I'd certainly be counting that goal, and that's probably what Gary Haylock did, and then all of a sudden his feet went from underneath him. Fuller tackled, went in possession, so the free kick will go the way of Whittlesey. That's been a great duel in the centre already. Both players contributing for their side. Whittlesey forward. Oh, what a mark there. He's found, it's Jolly. Well, wet ball and all, he took in a fine mark. Jolly, smothered. Now play on, legged, so he gets an opportunity for a second kick. I bet he'd go back further this time. Now he plays on. Long. Taylor's up, he couldn't mark it. Now an opportunity for Haylock. Short, he's found Stephen Nichols. Now Nichols already has 2 goals. Yes, I think you could nearly count this one. 2 goals, 1 as the siren sounds already to Stephen Nichols. The Warriors have 3 goals, 9. They lead by 20 points. Kicks on its way. They now lead by 26 points at quarter time as Stephen Nichols kicks his 3rd goal. So quarter time scores here at Woodville Oval. The Warriors 4 goals, 9. Lead the double blues 1 goal, 1. Start of the second quarter at Woodville Oval. It's the Warriors by 26 points. Stephen Nichols is the man who's done the damage. He has 3 goals in the first term. Now the thump away came forward. Over the top of that one was Harris. Now an opportunity for Painter. Long on the left foot, forward he goes. He couldn't find Wilmot, or Wilmot couldn't mark it. Russell was pushed in the back. Now an opportunity for Wilmot. The handball's wide to Klomp. Klomp will line up the goals. That's the way he goes. It's coming around. Is it true? It is. That's the start the double blues want. They now trail by only 20 points and could have run beyond.
Well, a great opening second quarter to the Blues. A quick goal in the opening minute. We saw them do that last week out of 3 of the 4 quarters when they got quick goals. And once again, it was set up by that man Painter who got the clearing kick out of the centre. And a great goal to Robert Klomp. He was quiet in that first quarter, but that should lift his confidence and also of his teammates.
Yes, they got one early. In fact, they got one at the 2-minute mark of the first term. They've opened up in fine style again in the second. They trail by 26 points. Reynolds it was with the big thump forward. Toomey dived on the ball. He tried to shovel it out. Unfortunately, he couldn't, and now an opportunity for Laurie Argent to throw the ball up. out of that glue pot there. It's impossible for the umpires to bounce. They started the quarter with a brand new ball already. It's covered in mud. Fuller, the handball onto Haylock. Painter stole it. Shot off the handball wide to Frost. Frost playing at centre wing today, goes long into the forward line. Wilmot's up, but behind him Rogers read the ball the better and has the mark. Rogers plays short. Haylock playing on quickly. Kick is high. Parker is there for the Warriors. He couldn't gather in the mark. John Martin back to Big Max Parker. Back to Martin. Going in circles, the Warriors at this stage. Now Templeton. He plays on quickly. Ball was smothered off the hands by Veal. Schwartz. Parker. Left foot forward. Underneath that one's Darren Grant playing on a half-forward flank today. Now there's plenty of movement forward. If he moves it quickly, he's got some runners. It wasn't well placed, however. Ralph Sewer did that well. He punched it forward. Painter, another clever handball off to Whittlesea. They've combined well. David I. The running player is Delena. Now he got off the handball to Benson, who followed up well. He pushes it wide to Kim Russell. Now Russell has the run of the ball. Unfortunately, Fantasia got the better set. Now Fantasia's kick is well smothered by Russell. Courageous work from Russell, forces a throw in.
Brilliant smother by young Kim Russell. And that's the type of football that'll have to be played today. Heavy conditions, desperate work. Good play by the youngster. Libas doing the ruck work in the back lines. Kitsky with the tap down towards Fantasia. Umpire Michael Abbott will have to bounce on the left forward flank for the Blues. They trail by 20 points. We've had 3 minutes of this second quarter. Libas with a tap. Russell with a quick kick away. Field couldn't control that. Haylock back there. Now the handball to Fantasia. Fantasia's kick is down towards the wing. Parker there, got one hand to it. Well snared by Panizza. Handball out the back door to Fuller. Fuller looked for support, then decided to kick long. Templeton tried to punch that one over his head. And David, I would imagine that Merv Kane would have instructed young Underwood to tighten right up on Templeton this quarter.
Yes, Templeton was very damaging in that first term. There's Big Max Parker on screen. Just a moment ago, he palmed the ball beautifully down to Panizza. Very few people would have seen that move. He's such a talented player. Now Russell, the handball to Whittlesea. Now Whittlesea's getting on top of Ron Fuller in the centre. The Double Blues are back into attack. Wilmot it was with the mark, not paid. Double Blue supporters won't be happy with that. Alex Lund just giving Wilmot a little bit of extra attention. There he is, the big fellow. Opened the game in fine style. He took a couple of good grabs. Painter tackled strongly by Lund. Now Randall Jolly off the half-back flank. Max Parker the mark. He'll waste no time. Play on he goes with the handball to Panizza. Now Panizza's kick is not well placed. Smith has the mark. The handball wide. Frost running into a little bit of dry ground. He put the kick well to Klomp. Now Klomp recovers the better on that occasion. Back to Russell. Now Russell shoots off the handball to Benson. Benson can line up the goals. He instead goes to the handball in the pocket. Painter concedes ground. Back and he's found Klomp. Well, he's so very calm, John Painter. He won't dispose of the ball unless he can find a player. On that occasion, he had Klomp coming down from centre half forward. Klomp now 40 metres out. The angle is only slight. Kick, however, is offline. Dragging across to the right and through for one behind. 4 goals, 9 the Warriors. 2 goals, 2 the Double Blues.
Well, one will never know whether that was a good passage of play or not by Painter. He only had one player to beat. I suppose if Klomp had kicked the goal, it would have been brilliant play. Ball comes out. Fine mark taken by Whittlesea. Now Whittlesea want to grab this ball and get it in quick. Lead provided by Delena. The ball goes out in that direction, over the head of that player, but he's first to recover. Battles the ball forward. Has the support of Russell. Russell's kick on the way. It's through the middle. And the Blues kick their 3rd goal. They move on to 3 goals, 2, 20 points. They now trail by only 13 points. The Warriors are on 4 goals, 9. And we're at the 5-minute mark of this second quarter.
Well, certainly the Double Blues doing all the attacking now. It was the Warriors in the second half of the first quarter that scored 3 quick goals that gave them their lead at quarter time, but the Double Blues, in their never say die attitude, are on the road back.
Centre field again. Reynolds opposed to Parker. Parker's been a great player. Reynolds with a tap. Went straight down into the mud. This time it'll be Abbott to throw the ball up. Certainly is very heavy there. Number of players around the ball. Parker with the tap. In there is Plonk. So too is Toomey, but once again it'll be umpire Michael Abbott to throw the ball up. One wonders whether it may pay to be throwing the ball up on either side of that pile of mud. I doubt if it'd be an advantage to either of the sides, as Painter gets another kick away. This time it was a left foot kick out towards Wilmot. Rogers, good body work, managed to get the handball back to Jolly. Jolly in turn to Martin, he's dispossessed. Desperate work out there by Frost. Scott Field with the ball, he's tackled as well. Plenty of desperate work out there. Now it's Frost, he's a natural left footer, the kick's on the way. Just offline, a minor score, so the Blues move on to 3-3-21. 12 points behind Woodville on 4 goals 9 at the 7.5-minute mark of this second quarter.
Kim, had he kicked that, they would have only trailed by 7 points, the Double Blues, so an important miss for them. Fuller, a bounce, out 2. Took a risk in the wet. Sewer. He tried to get off the handball, but desperate work on that occasion by smothered the handball. Reynolds on to Smith. The Double Blues forward yet again. Out came Rogers. Haylock couldn't gather the ball. Now Clomp the handball. Delina evades the tackle. Lines up the goals. But dropping back on that one is Big Levis for the Warriors, and here's the mark. Now he plays on to Lunn. The Warriors are running the ball out of defence well. Parker and Reynolds. Good smother from Reynolds, and the ball is out of play deep on the half-back flank.
12 points the difference. 8 minutes gone of this second quarter. Once again, it's Reynolds opposed to Parker. Reynolds front position, but Parker with a tap straight down to Haylock. He kicked it into his captain. Painter front position, looking for a free kick, none given. And we'll have a replay of what happened only seconds ago.
Yes, John Painter gets some of those very important touches. Can be very quick with either hand or foot, and he rarely wastes the disposal. Panizza hugging the boundary line. Controlled that well and came out of it. Shot off the short kick to Ron Fuller. Now Fuller almost played on. He might have been out of bounds had he done so. Goes back to have his kick. It's another short one. On to Schwartz, ruck roving. Schwartz's kick is a little bit longer. Looking forward for Andrew Taylor. At the front, McCarthy. Now Heinrich. The handball off to Moskini. Tackled strongly. He almost threw away the ball. Kevin Harris. Forward he goes, underneath that one, John Martin, he'll have to go. Underwood had the mark, played on foolishly. Frost off the ground. Now an opportunity for Stephen Nichols, working with a bit of space. Short kick is looking forward to John Martin. Martin on the left foot, goes even shorter. He found Templeton. Templeton's kick across the face of goal. In fact, it's gone out of play about 15 metres around from the right behind post. So an untidy passage of play on that occasion by the Warriors. They had movement, they just couldn't use the player.
Reynolds again opposed to Parker. Parker front position. Ball comes down towards Eye. Harris in there working hard, but a free kick's been picked out for holding the man. And it'll go the way of young David Eye, who had such a fine game last week against the Eagles. Now Benson provides a lead, but Panizza has front position. Ball came over the back, but a free kick's been given. And it'll go the way of young Matt Benson. And Benson, in fact, is 23 today. So he'll be hoping for a win. And I don't think you could get a better birthday present than that. Kick out towards Smith. Smith should have held that. Backs up well. Home towards Russell. Russell's kick is misdirected. In fact, he nearly found the Woodville trainer there. The ball's tapped over the head of James Fantasia. And once again, the ball is out of play at the 10-minute mark of this second quarter.
Warriors have the lead by only 12 points. We've played just on 10 minutes into the second term at the Warrior Oval. The handball was on from Painter to Whittlesey. Now Whittlesey can line up the goals. That's the way he goes. Right through the middle, is it? No, just offline. Unfortunately for the Double Blues, they've missed yet again. So they've added a point to their score, 3 goals 4, trailing the Warriors 4 goals 9.
Well, David, we've seen it on 4 occasions now when players trying to shoot for goal at that northern end. They have to aim at the right-hand goalpost as the breeze is bringing that ball across. Schwarz in there, so too is Painter. Painter again with another handball. Having a great game, John Painter. The kick towards Levis. Gee, they seem to be picking out this player. His clearing kick out the direction of Clonk. A fine mark taken by Robert Clonk. Great body strength against Toomey. Now Klopp's picked out a player, looks like Kinski, and he's found him, and that's a fine mark. Kinski swinging his arms around. We want to be careful. He's got possession. It's within kicking distance. Kinski last week kicked 2 goals. The week before he kicked 3. So now he has an opportunity to kick his first goal today. Blues on 22 points. They trail by 11 points. Make that 5 points as the kick is good by Kinski. So the Blues move on to 4 goals 4, trailing the Warriors on 4 goals 9.
Oh, and it all started with Klomp, who took the mark from the kickoff. It was a fine mark to Klomp. He placed it well for Kitski. Kitski in turn took another good mark for the Double Blues and made no error in putting that through. That's his first for the day. He can score goals, Kitski, if given the opportunities. Certainly the Double Blues will need him and Wilmot firing up forward.
12 minutes into the second quarter. That's the Warriors by 5 points. Smith over towards field, got round his opponent cleverly. Now pushes out a pass looking for Wilmot. Great mark, Wilmot. Oh, it looked to be over his head. That's his 5th mark for the game. He extended that right arm and it just stuck there. Wilmot kicked the first goal of the game. Now he's easily within range. Normally a good kick. Runs in very deliberate, but he's pulled that one right across his body. So an opportunity gone begging for the Blues. They now move on to 4-5, 29 points, trailing the Warriors 4-9, 33.
Wilmot on that occasion just overstretched. Didn't follow through at all with the ball. Now Rogers to bring the ball back from full back. He was looking for Parker. Parker was in front, who claimed the mark. Play on called the umpire. Russell back to Frost. Left foot goes forward. Alex Lunn, 50th game player, has taken the mark. Lunn works during the day as a policeman, certainly policing the back lines for the Warriors. Certainly playing around with a little bit the Warriors. Nizza using his pace well. The kick was forward. Ralph Sewer's underneath that one. He'll need to go hard. He did. Wilmot pushed off the ball by Lunn. Snaffles it forward where Whittlesey tries to gather in the ball. Now Wilmot again, taken to the ground, and the umpire will have a ball up. The players going very hard at it on that occasion, Kim, giving no inch.
Over the top was Kitski. Down towards Benson. Benson throws himself over the top. You want to try and knock that ball out. And umpire Michael Abbott in very quickly there. I think that ball may have cleared itself if he'd let that passage of play go on. Down towards Jolly. Jolly looking for support. Toomey could control it. Delina, quick handle out to Benson. Benson tried to hook that one back around his body, but didn't quite make contact on the right end of the ball. And that ball now goes out of bounds on the full.
Breeze definitely favouring the northern end, the end to which the Double Blues are kicking. Sewer gathers the ball off the pack. Now he evades the tackle strongly. Good play, Ralph Sewer. Grandstand side he goes. Taylor was up in front of him. McCarthy, Darren Grant tackle. Now Taylor. Back to Templeton. Templeton's been a good player already for the Warriors. His kick is forward on the lead. Haylock, who stood his ground courageously and has taken a good mark. Now he plays on. Looking for John Martin. Frost is there, the big thump away. Schwartz, handball's back. Haylock courageously through. Tried to get the handball forward to John Martin, but now there's been a free kick picked out. It's going the way of Underwood. Underwood wastes no time. He plays on quickly to Heinrich, who's created space down from his back pocket. Harris for the Warriors. Schwartz back to Stephen Nichols. Now Nichols will go over the top. John Martin can run into the goals. On the left foot he goes. Has he got it? He hasn't. It's just offline and through for one behind. So their best opportunity to score a goal this quarter, the Warriors. In fact, they haven't got one this quarter.
Well, Woodville kicked 4 goal 9 in the first quarter, so that was 13 scoring shots. And into this breeze, Sturt could only manage 2 scoring shots. They kicked 1-1. And now we see Woodville managing their first score into this breeze. And it was a minor score. That's why Peter Reid brings the ball back into play, but he's kicked it straight to the Woodville captain in Max Parker. Parker takes his time. Not much movement up forward. Now drives the ball in long. Nichols will have to fly. The big spoil by McCarthy comes away of Templeton. He's caught on that right foot. He kicks that across the face of goal. Frost out there. I think he'll be quite happy to see that go over the line. In fact, he's kept it in play. Now Nichols in there. That may be costly. He's tackled and dispossessed. Play on the cool. And finally, a free kick's been picked out, and will go the way of David Frost, who's playing his 100th game today. Of course, he started off with Glenelg. He played 34 games for that side and has now played 66 with Sturt. Normally extremely long kick. That's no exception. Big lead back there, and a fine mark taken by Sewer. The Woodville forward line very congested. Sewer drives in looking for Templeton. He read that well, then had a touch of the fumbles. David I in there, so too is John Martin. And now the ball goes over the boundary line, and once again, it's in that left forward pocket for Woodville.
Stephen Nichols playing well at full forward. He has 3 goals for the Warriors. Michael Templeton also playing a great game, as is Ralph Sewer. So their running players are giving them plenty of drive, the Warriors. They just can't get it on the board this quarter. There's another one of their runners, Kevin Harris, wearing his headgear today, of course, after that nasty injury to his cheek. Looks a little like Stephen Curtis for Port Adelaide. Now Haylock got off the handball to John Martin. His quick kick went forward. Picking it up for the Double Blues was Kitski, who drove it long. Painter was there, jolly for the Warriors, and the ball's been forced across the line.
Look down at the Sturt bench, and 2 players warming up. I wouldn't imagine they're about to make a move. I think there's just these cool conditions. They're keeping themselves warm. It's a ball kicked forward by Grant. The mark's been taken there by Templeton. Templeton had the better of Underwood. Drives short, finds Jolly. Randall Jolly would be about 60 metres out, so I doubt whether he could score at 55 metres possibly. It's a good kick, but it's just pulling up. Oh, Taylor up high from behind, couldn't take the mark. In fact, it's been paid. Oh, look at McCarthy, can't believe it. Well, he certainly got his hands to the ball. But, gee, I don't think that was a mark. Laurie Argent was a lot closer than what we are. We had the advantage of the screen, though. Well, the 3rd mark to Taylor, and it'll be a goal. There's no mistake about that. And the Sturt supporters aren't happy. So Woodville have now kicked 1-1 into this breeze. They now move on to 5 goals, 10. Sturt are on 4-5, and we've had 20 minutes of this second quarter.
Well, Kim, he had the fly from behind Taylor. He did it well, too. He got his hands to the ball, and as he came down, he turned his body inside out to get the second bite of the cherry as it came down. I think Laurie Argent was well placed to decide whether that was a mark or not. Certainly ended up a very good effort at a mark.
Parker again, tapped by Kitski, taken by Benson. Benson retarded, play on the call. In there again, hard body work. And Laurie Argent calls that one a dead heat. Well, the Sturt supporters are looking for a free kick then. Well, Laurie wouldn't have a bar of it. Parker down towards Painter. Now out towards Field. He couldn't pick the ball up out of the mud. Now it's socked forward. McCarthy there. Well, he's being ridden into the ground by Taylor. And this time it's Michael Abbott to come in and clear the mess up.
Max Parker in ruck. He got the tap down, looking for Schwartz. He couldn't get it out. The umpire's trying to allow players the opportunity of clearing it from that pack. Unfortunately, they can't, so another throw-up will take place. Doing the ruck work again will be Kitski and Parker. Parker got it down for Andrew Taylor, whose kick was forward. Ralph Sewer's underneath that one. Tried to thump it forward. David I recovers quickly. His leg said the umpire. Now play on. Underwood forward. Smith. Delina. Delina wastes no time. He plays on. Now John Painter has a paddock in which to move. He touches the ball to ground. He holds it, looking for a player forward. On the lead is Wilmot. Well placed, John Painter. He holds the ball until he has a player open, and then he dispatches the ball, and he does it so well, John Painter. Now Ian Wilmot, an opportunity of scoring goal number 2. He has one. It's at the 2nd minute mark of the first quarter. He opened the first term in fine style. That runs right through the middle. 5 goals, 5, the Double Blues. 35 points, trailing the Warriors on 5-10-40. The margin is now only 5 points.
Once again, it's that man, John Painter. Been a little bit quiet the last 5 or 10 minutes. He managed to get himself back into that passage of play, and as David mentioned, when John Painter gets the ball, I can assure you one of his teammates will end up with it. Never panics, great play.
Robert Veal preparing to come onto the ground. Appears to be Kitski, the player, coming off. The ball goes high into the air. Reynolds thumped it forward. Now Delina, Klomp. He has the run of the ball, Klomp. Unfortunately, Livis is in his way. Livis gets away a quick kick. Gives an opportunity for Templeton. Underwood bursting his way through. Delina threading the pack. He did that very well under plenty of pressure. Oh, he got away the kick, and Laurie Argent scored it holding the ball. Well, he did have an opportunity to dispose of it. Laurie ruled that he'd had enough time. Michael Templeton with the free kick. Short into the centre, Max Parker. Parker has Lund running grandstand side. He elects to go long towards centre half forward. Big Reynolds is there, so too McCarthy. McCarthy in front has the mark or the free kick. Take your pick. That's certainly turning into a fine duel, the one between Taylor and McCarthy. Heinrich, left foot. Delina couldn't gather in the mark. Plenty of pressure from Lund. Lund's been a good defender. Panizza, left foot forward. Schwartz ruck roving with Harris. Tried to burst his way through. Heinrich paddles it out. Underwood off to Russell, in turn looking for Greg Whittlesey. Now Haylock, the players are moving the ball quickly considering it's a wet and greasy ball. McCarthy had it thumped away by Kevin Harris. Now Templeton an opportunity forward. Offline, however, and through for one behind. So all moving around with very quick precision by both sides. Considering how greasy it is, they're doing a good job of it.
6 points in this game. We're just approaching time on. In fact, we're at the 24-minute mark of this second quarter. Reed kicked the ball out towards Eye. Eye drives long and finds Painter, who couldn't control that, recovered well. Now he's kicked centre field towards Russell. It's well dispatched. Russell grabs that ball, puts it out towards Veal. He couldn't take that. Big spoil by Livis. In there again, Russell, taken by Smith. In turn out towards Klomp. Klomp lifts the eyes and drives long. Underneath it, Wilmot. Big spoil by Fantasia. Robert Veal with his first kick of the game. Back towards Russell. Oh, he grabbed that one like a magician. Pulled that from nowhere. Over to Whittlesey. Underwood down from his half-back flank. His kick's on the way. But it's offline. And the Blues move on to 5 goals 6. Trailing Woodville 5-11. And we've hit time on in this second quarter.
Well, there's a trend developing in South Australia for the half-back flankers to come down and have a shot. We saw only a couple of weeks ago, David Tiller for North Adelaide kicked 2 goals from a half-back flank. Underwood had an opportunity on that occasion to score also. Reynolds did the smothering, he did it well. Now Matt Benson bursts his way through. Fine duel between Benson and Panizza. Honours even at this stage. As into the forward line they go, the Double Blues, but Alex Lund drops back on that ball. He's playing a great game in his 50th game. Now short he goes, Panizza, mark. That occasion Benson was a little bit behind him. Panizza, the WA recruit, certainly been a good find for the Warriors. Grandstand side he goes, Max Parker's up in front of Reynolds. Neither can take the mark. Underwood desperately dives on the ball. Toomey tried to get the handball. Play on, tip the umpire. Templeton under plenty of pressure from Moschetti. He's held. Laurie Argent calls him for the ball to be thrown in.
Well, Laurie Argent was on the wrong side of play there, so he couldn't see what was happening. That appeared to be definitely holding the ball to me. Parker with the tap down towards Haylock. He's got the knack of getting the ball to move very quickly. This time it was inaccurately. David Odie comes onto the ground and he replaces young Field. Odie will be pretty keen. Gets at the fall of the ball, it's taken by Klomp. Now the handball out towards Odie, an opportunity for his first touch. It's been stolen by Veal. Veal with a long raking drop punt kick is offline again. So the Blues move on to 5 goals 7, 37 points. Woodville 5-11-41, and we're at the 26.5-minute mark of this second quarter.
The Double Blues have done very well this quarter. They trail by 26 points at quarter time. That margin is now only 4 points. Had opportunities to be in front too. They've missed some easy shots. Haylock picks up the ball, handballs it off to Jolly. In turn, moved it back to Fantasia. Templeton just inside the line. He did well on that occasion. Now he plays on. He's been a star in the first half of this game. Whittlesey had the better of Fuller. Plomp coming into the game. Odie fresh onto the field, but he couldn't control it. Termy with a little bit of pace out of the mud. Onto the left foot he goes, wide. John Martin has the run of the ball, picks it up well, short. He goes and turn to Kevin Harris. Fuller over the top. Panizza, no one within 55 metres of him. He'll touch the ball to the ground. Now he chances a bounce. He only has one play to get around. He couldn't do it. What a great tackle on that occasion by Ide. The Sturt fans aren't happy. They claimed it was holding the ball. Underwood had a fumble. He shoveled it out to Odie. In turn went looking for Ide. Now Reynolds an opportunity for the Double Blues. Sewer tackles Ide. He stole the ball. He threw it out to Haylock. Haylock onto the left foot. Darren Grant, it was over his head. Now an opportunity for Andrew Taylor. Taylor quickly off the ground. John Martin, Moskeny in pursuit. Push in the back ball, around the neck, please yourself. The free kick's going the way of John Martin. Now Martin will be kicking into the teeth of a breeze.
Well, David, the crowd's going absolutely berserk at Laurie Argent, but what they failed to see was when Panizza was tackled, he managed to get a handball away, and they're still pretty upset over that decision.
Oh, well, the umpires are the men on the spot as Moskeny off the back line for the Double Blues, pushes it forward towards Veal. It's close to the boundary line. Randall Jolly is able to keep it in for the Warriors. This game is certainly hotting up. The pace of the game and the tempo increasing as Michael Templeton has the mark at centre forward. On to Fuller. Short he goes to Ralph Sewer. The Warriors are back into attack. They've done very little of that this quarter. Ralph Sewer, the veteran of the Warrior side. 35 metres out, almost directly in front. He's pulled the kick across to the right, however, and through for one behind. So 5 goals, 12 the Warriors. Inaccurate kicking certainly costing them. The Double Blues are on 5 goals, 7. The margin is now only 5 points.
28.5 minutes gone of this second quarter. Time running out. The Blues would want to get the ball down there pretty quickly if they're to score again. Schwarz grabbed without possession. Taken by Harris. His handball in turn to Templeton. Back towards Harris. He's got to get round. Oh, he skirts the boundary line. Just kept that in play. In fact, he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. And there's the siren to end the second quarter at Woodville Oval. Woodville on 5 goals, 12, 42 points, leading the Blues 5-7, 37. There's 5 points in it, and it's a great game of football. Second half underway at Woodville Oval, and it's the Warriors by 5 points. Big Reynolds with another big thump away, down in the direction of Delina. Now he picks the ball up again with his second opportunity. Handball over to Whittlesey. Whittlesey drives long. Smith managed to get a hand to that. Panizza in there, very quick kick. Out towards Harris. He's met by Painter. Ball very close to the line. In fact, it's gone over the line. And we saw a great, well, a good second quarter by Sturt. They managed to kick 4 goals with the breeze. And the Warriors managed only 1 against.
Yes, they did, Kim, and that was the story of the game. They led by 26 points at quarter time, the Warriors, and only 5 points at half time. Such was the comeback of the Double Blues. David Odie it was who took the ball out of play on that occasion. Big Max Parker, the Warrior captain, to do the ruck work with big David Reynolds, number 5, the Double Blues. Parker in front, who got the tap. Chris Termy picks up the ball and kicks forward. Chipping the ball off the ground for the Double Blues was Benson. There's been a free kick picked out and it's gone the way of John Martin. Now John Martin handballs off to Fuller. Fuller's kick is not well put on that occasion. He was looking for Sewer. Andrew Taylor off to Randall Jolly. Short he goes, looking for Darren Grant, who's been quiet today. He got a little nudge in the back from Moskeny. Now Moskeny handball to himself. Jolly an opportunity. Frost dumps the ball forward cleverly to Veal. Veal on dry ground, has a bounce. Kicks long to centre half forward. Klomp's underneath that one. He's up, Klomp. He couldn't quite gather it in. Now Fantasia. Dry ball, he got it out cleverly to Levis. Levis's kick is a long one. And out at centre wing, he's found Panizza. Dry ball makes it much easier for the players to move it forward. That kick was well placed to Sewer, who was out on a strong lead. Sewer plays on forward. He goes on the left foot, looking for Nichols. Grant picks up the ball on the left foot. He has a shot at goal. Could it come around enough? It can't, unfortunately. And through for only one behind. So the Warriors 5 goals 13. Lead Sturt 5 goals 7. The margin is now 6 points.
2.5 minutes gone in this third quarter. It'll be Peter Reid to bring the ball back into play. Of course, Peter Reid played his 100th game for the Sturt Football Club last week. He played a fine game at that. Now Reynolds provides the lead. That's ignored by Reid. Decides to go grandstand side looking for Underwood. He couldn't take the mark. Templeton over the top of him. Underwood has possession. Now Reynolds has to make up plenty of ground to get back from that far side. Taken by Haylock. Haylock centres the ball. Back there is I. Great defensive play by David I. Good spoil, but it's Nichols who reads the crumbs the better. Here's handball to Fuller. Fuller in turn back to Kevin Harris. And Harris is now about 50 metres out with the breeze behind him. Harris yet to kick a goal. Drop punt on its way. Oh, Taylor up high. Play on the call. Painter back there. His handball over the... Oh, hang on a sec. It's been called a goal. Now, I can't pick up who kicked that, whether that ball carried.
Yes, Kevin Harris it was, Kim. Templeton, in fact, Taylor from behind took the big lead. He pushed the back forward. He got his hands to the ball, but he was well behind the line, or just behind the line.
Just behind, it'd have to be, not well behind.
Yes, you've called that right. He was just behind the line. The goal umpire in the right position to see it, and Kevin Harris has his first goal of the game. So the Warrior vice captain certainly back in good form for the Warriors.
Parker, Reynolds with a tap straight down towards Haylock. Taken by Harris again. Over the top to run Fuller. Fuller drives long looking for Nichols. Reid front position. Now it's picked up by Taylor. Taylor's snapshot on the way. There's nobody home. It's a crooked bounce and it goes to the right-hand side. So it's another minor score to the Warriors. They move on to 6-14, 40 points. Or in fact, 50 points. And Sturt are on 5-7-37. This is an important quarter of football for the Blues.
Oh, is it what? Haylock with the mark. In fact, I was just having a quick look. Andrew Taylor hasn't scored a goal today. Haylock, centre half forward. Big thump away came from Reid. In fact, Taylor has scored a goal. It was in the second term from a mark in the forward pocket that was disputed, but was certainly a good mark, and the umpire was in the right position to see it. So he has one. They're looking for more from him. Parker it was with the tap. Underwood the quick kick forward. Now Panizza funneling the ball in front of him. Off it goes to Fuller. Now Fuller is coming back into the game. He was beaten well and truly in that second term by Whittlesea. Russell, the handball forward. Out wide is Painter, an absolute star in that first half. Left foot forward has found his mark in Benson. Benson called to play on by the umpire. Goes towards centre half forward. Nobody home for the Double Blues, and dropping back underneath that one's Randall Jolly. He thought about playing on two. Now he elects to go short to Alex Lunn, 50-game player. Fuller providing plenty of run this term. Schwartz cleverly evades the tackle, plays on. Deep into the forward pocket he goes, now on the lead is Stephen Nichols. Nichols has 3 to date, all in the first term. 55 metres out.
David Ralph Sewer's all by himself. He's screaming for the ball. He's got his arms in the air.
I think you can see why he didn't kick it to Ralph Sewer. He backs himself in most times, Stephen Nichols. On that occasion, a long way out. He lobbed the ball high, and with the breeze, he brought it back around to kick the goal number 4.
Well, it certainly was a brilliant kick, but that was rather humorous, that was. Ralph Sewer saw that he was all by himself. He snuck down from the wing, He had his arms waving in the air, he's jumping up and down, but obviously Nichols never saw him, and he's probably glad he didn't, because it was a magnificent kick to kick his 4th goal, and the Blues have to score into this breeze to be a chance in this game.
Feel it was a shot off the handball. Ralph Sewer intercepted it, however. Onto the left foot, he goes wide. Darren Grant comes out in front of the grandstand and has the mark. Darren Grant starting to come into this game. It's a long drop cut, kick forward, and Andrew Taylor has taken a sensational mark. A big mark to Taylor. Now he lines up the goals. It's a beautiful kick. Is it going through? It's just short, however, and through for one behind. So great play on that occasion by Andrew Taylor. Magnificent mark, and he couldn't quite finish it off.
Well, David, I'll let you recover after that call. It's a fine mark by Taylor. Now the ball comes out towards Panizza, and that's a great mark as well. Panizza spears out a pass. It's been intercepted by Underwood. Well, what a mark by Taylor. What an incredible call by David Mackay. Underwood plays on. Kicks out to the grandstand side. Looking from Heinrich. Taylor again. Heinrich with a fist. Well picked up by Fantasia. His short pass in the direction of Templeton. Templeton has had an absolute field day on Underwood. Darren Grant provides the lead. The ball goes in that direction. Moskeny with the spoil. Taken by Haylock. His handball spoiled. Harris in there. Now Fuller. Fuller's kick is high. There's 3 grabs there, and that's a fine mark taken by Underwood.
Yes, certainly been some good marks taken today, considering the conditions. Started very wet in the opening bounce. Fortunately, there's been a bit of breeze around, and there's another good mark taken by John Martin. So the players enjoying the sticky ball. John Martin, deep in the left half-forward flank, goes long. Underneath that one was Reid. He couldn't gather in the mark. David Eye jumps on top of it. Haylock over the top of him. Umpire Michael Abbott says he'll come in and have a bounce. It's one of the spots on the ground where he can bounce the ball also. They're throwing it up in the centre. In fact, they're throwing it up all day. Taylor, snapshot for goal, smothered off the boot. He called it out of bounds on the full, the goal umpire, but then he realised it was touched off the boot, so the throwing will take place.
9 minutes into the 3rd quarter. It's the Warriors by 20 points. They're kicking with the aid of a 3 or 4 goal breeze as Harris gets the handball over to Haylock. Haylock wrong foots his opponents. Now the handball to Sewer. Sewer on the left foot. The kick on its way. And that's good. Oh, great kick, Ralph Sewer. A brilliant passage of play. And the Warriors march on to 8 goals, 15, 63 points. Sturt on 5-7, 37, and that was Sewer's first goal.
Oh, what a great goal it was. Ralphie bounding back towards the centre of the field. He's roving today with Haylock. He got the handball wide, and from a very difficult angle, he just speared it through, as only Ralph Sewer can do. Magnificent left foot kick right through the middle. The Warriors now 63 points, leading the Double Blues on 37.
Well, Reynolds is getting his hand to the ball. This time it was Parker, but the Blues cannot get the ball out of the centre. This time it's Schwarz. Over towards Lund. He's tackled. Reynolds in there. So too is Klomp, been a very quiet player today. Benson with the handball taken by Ville. Certainly got plenty of muscle, Robert Ville. Levis lost that one, then swiveled his head around 15 times looking for it. Couldn't find it. Painter over the top to Delina. He's got one player to get around. Got the kick on it, was misdirected. It's been taken by Rogers. Rogers drives the ball back towards centre, and that's a fine mark taken by Darren Grant. Darren Grant playing in a half-forward flank today. Of course, he's been playing at centre-half back in recent weeks. All McCarthy met solid. He stood his ground. Fine play by the Sturt centre-half back. But there's no one home for the Blues, and that's another mark there to Darren Grant. Grant drives the ball looking for Martin. Back there was Frost, but young Oti takes the mark. In fact, his first mark since coming onto the ground. Kicks across ground, all just over the head of Max Parker. That finds Heinrich. Heinrich starting to run up the ground a little bit. We saw this of him last week. Wilmots! Oh, what a beautiful mark. Oh, strong mark from the middle of the pack. In fact, that was his 5th mark for the day, but it wasn't a good kick. Ball's been spoiled away. Russell in there. Handball back towards Ville. Bill centres the ball. It's floating everywhere. It's a good kick, though. Klomp tried to take a miraculous mark. Ball pushed out towards Fantasia with a short pass to Schwarz, and that'd just be 10 metres.
Well, it wasn't 10 metres.
It wasn't.
Kim, you called that well. It wasn't quite 10 metres. The umpire called play on, and Schwarz was taken out of play, so the throw-in will take place about 25 metres out from the right behind post. Livis, underneath that was Daryl Smith doing the ruck work for the Double Blues as Kim Russell tried to burst his way through. He couldn't burst through the pack, and another ball up will take place. Players certainly working very hard out there. 26 points the lead to the Warriors. The ball yet again is thrown up. Daryl Smith yet again doing the ruck work. Livis it was who got the tap down, went as far as Haylock. He couldn't get the ball clear of the pack, and another ball up will take place. So 3 goals to the Warriors this term. The Double Blues haven't got one. They only trail by 5 points at half-time. Sturt. They need some more goals on the board. Fuller picks it up cleverly. Off to Jolly. Jolly has nowhere to go, so he elects to go wide. Kevin Harris is out, and that's a well-placed ball. He found him well. Professional 15-metre penalty given away by Matt Benson on that occasion. Didn't matter, however, as the runners for the Warriors were down. Jolly on to Rogers, down from full-back. He's played a good game in that position. Now Panizza covering plenty of ground. The handball will go over the top. The runner on that occasion is Stephen Nichols. He chips short to Kevin Harris, and right in front of goals, Harris has to mark. Kevin Harris has 1 goal. Warrior vice-captain returning to the league line-up today. Wearing his headgear, lines up the goals. Oh, and a shocking kick. It's normally a very reliable kick for goal. That one, however, slewed across to the right, and only 1 behind was the result.
Well, that certainly wasn't a good kick by Kevin Harris. The Woodville vice-captain. Now the Blues need to score desperately into this breeze if they're to stay in this game. Woodville kicking with a 3 to 4 goal breeze as Reid brings that ball to the outer side looking for Reynolds. Couldn't take that. Whittlesee's tackle without possession. A little bit quiet today, Whittlesea. Has to go back around his mark. Now kicks to the wing, looking for Reynolds again. And once again, the ball's out of play.
Well, Kim, Greg Whittlesea, I think, certainly been a little quiet this term. I thought his first half of football wasn't too bad.
Did I say today, David? Sorry, I meant this term. He's been quiet this term. I correct myself.
Right, the ball comes back into play. Parker it was with a tap down. John Painter picks up the ball. He couldn't get clear of that pack, and yes, it's often difficult doing a quick commentary. Now the free kick picked out. It's going the way of the Double Blues. Reynolds. Reynolds was 20 on Thursday, so the Double Blues have some birthday boys. Oh, and a big mark taken by Termy. What a good grab that was. He flew high across the top of the pack, sideways, and took down a screamer. Pompey grabs him by the leg. 15-metre penalty. Rob's got plenty to say. Termy playing a good game at centre-half back. McCarthy took the front position for the Double Blues. He was held as he came down. Free kick was played. He gathers in the ball and moves quickly. Towards centre-half forward he goes. Wilmot's out from behind, but the big marks taken by Rogers. Oh, and there's been some sensational marks taken in this game. Rogers on to Jolly. Wide to the wing, Panizza. Getting on top of Benson now, Panizza. They were evenly matched in the first half. Forward it goes to Darren Grant. Pulled off the ball. Free kick. Now, the umpires are right on the job today. There were some decisions in the second quarter that left the supporters wondering. Certainly they've been right on the mark in this third term. Grant, Max Parker. How they couldn't see he was unattended, I don't know. Stands out like a beacon, Big Max. Forward to the full forward position he goes. Out in front with Big Mark. Tried to be taken by Ralph Sewer. Coming down with the ball was Templeton. Desperate work by Eye. Now Underwood pushed on top of the ball. No free kick and the ball up will take place. Well, Kim, there's certainly some desperate players out there today.
There is, David. Correct me if I'm wrong, but every time John Painter seems to just fall out of the game temporarily, like he has in this quarter, the Blues really struggle. Taylor paddling the ball forward, taken by John Martin. Punched on again by Moskeni. Now it's Darren Grant. He's had a pretty good game today. Hooks that one round his body, but once again it'll drift to the left-hand side of the goalpost. We've seen that happen repeatedly today. And another minor score for the Warriors. Sturt are on 5 goals 7, and the Woodville are on 8 goals 17.
2 points to Darren Grant, certainly coming into this game in the third term. He's had 2 quick shots at goal. He's only just missed. Whittlesea now. Heinrich, Painter. Let's hope Painter can get back in this game. Moskeny started the game brilliantly, Moskeny. Wide it goes to Lunn, who tried to thump the ball away and missed. Smith, handball high over the top to Delina, who's running. Fantasia's there for the Warriors, giving close attention to Delina. Now the handball off. Beale, the muscle man of the double blue lineup. High ball towards Wilmot at full forward. Rogers the thump away. He recovered the better and shoveled it forward. Now an opportunity for Wilmot. Back to Moskeny running down from his half-back flank. He can line up the goals. That's the way he goes. He chips towards goal. Put a go through it has. Moskeny's got a goal off his half-back flank, and he's a pretty happy boy. Bob gives him a pat on the head. He followed the ball down very, very well. He threaded his way through. Moskeny has kicked the Double Blues' first goal this quarter.
Well, an absolute magnificent individual effort by Moskeny. It was Wilmot who farmed out the handball. Moskeny charged his arm. He went one way, then the other, saw that he had an opportunity to goal, and did exactly that. A fine kick by the half-back flanker, and a much-needed goal to the Blues at the 18-minute mark of this third quarter.
Reynolds in ruck versus Parker. Parker with the tap down to Fuller, who almost got a quick kick away. Odie out of the mud, plucks the ball and handballs it forward. Haylock intercepts. On it goes to Veal, however. Now Klomp, short he goes. On the leads, Wilmot mark. Rogers' hand above his head. He knew he couldn't do anything at all about that. Now Wilmot. He already has 2 goals. Opportunity of scoring goal number 3. Kicked 1 in the first term, 1 in the second. Now lines up for goal number 3, and that won't be goal number 3. It's well offline, across to the left and through for 1 behind. 2 goals 1, in fact 2 goals 2. The score to Ian Wilmot this afternoon. He opened the game in fine style. A little bit of shoving and pushing going out as the players bring the ball back.
Well, every time Ian Wilmot strives for a little bit of distance, he seems to drag that ball right across his body. We've seen that. That's the 3rd occasion today that's happened. The ball taken by Toomey. It's a high kick centre field. Reynolds up high, couldn't take the mark. Oti in there. Taken by Kevin Harris. Short pair of hands. He's tackled. Play on the claw. Out towards Bill. The Blues attack once again. Smith back there. Got his hands to the ball but couldn't control it. And we'll have a throw in that left forward pocket at the southern end once again.
It was Robert Klomp who threw out that quick handball to Veal. He certainly gets some of those quick handballs away, Klomp. They often go unnoticed. His bullocking work is a feature of his game at centre-half forward for the Double Blues. And there he is again, another quick handball. Intercepted by Fantasia. His quick kick away. Running in to grab that mark is Daryl Smith.
Smith's got several players short, and one of them was Oti.
There's Oti, who started the game on the interchange bench. Now getting himself into this game. Good bloodlines for this young Sturt player. Your racehorse should be paying plenty for him. Now, I think distance might be a little bit troublesome for him, so he elects to go short. It wasn't well placed. Intercepting it was Haylock. The handball to Panizza. Panizza quickly gets the kick forward. It's high. Underneath that one, however, is Underwood, and he has the mark, but the infringement's been picked out. It's going against Benson. And the free kick will be picked up by Michael Templeton. Templeton plays on through the centre. Rogers has the mark. It was a well-placed kick. Scott Field giving him plenty of close attention. Lunn now evades the tackle. 50 games for Lunn for the Warriors. He's been a serviceable player today. Now John Martin onto the left foot. He'll need to go. He has a bounce. Instead he decides to handball over the top to Grant. Grant long. Michael Templeton following down from a half-back area where he took the kick moments ago. Now deep into the forward pocket. Underneath that one was Templeton. He couldn't gather it in. Nichols, in fact, onto the left foot. Back towards centre-half forward, and Kevin Harris has the mark. So they're playing possession football, the Warriors. They're holding the ball until they can distribute it to a player who's clear. Kevin Harris, 1 goal 3. He missed a goal from almost the same position only 3 or 4 minutes ago. I doubt he'll miss this one. He lines it up very carefully. He rarely misses 2 in a row, Kevin Harris. Right through the middle it goes. 9 goals, 17 the Warriors, 6 goals, 8 the Double Blues.
Well, you can put that goal down to Stephen Nichols. A fine passage of play, picked that ball up, and he never even considered having a shot at goal. He looked back to the centre of the ground, hooked the ball around his body. He saw Harris there, and Harris took a fine mark, and he's having a very good third term. And after not playing for 5 or 6 weeks, his fitness does not seem to be affecting him at the moment.
Back at centre, Kitschke and ruck for the Double Blues. Max Parker with the big thump down. Whittlesey tried to get the handball away. Now Matt Benson, Painter, clever handball backwards to Russell. Going wide, Scott Field, who's now playing on a wing field. He started the game roving, tried to get off the handball to Daryl Smith, but instead it's gone across the line and out of play. And we've played just on 22.5 minutes into the third quarter at Woodville Oval. 71 plays 44. The Warriors have the lead.
And it'll be Kitschke. Parker looking for front position, finally got it, but he tapped it straight down to Bill. He couldn't get a kick away because of the vigorous tackle applied by Harris. About 6 minutes to go in this third quarter, and the Blues desperately need a goal. Taken by Harris, getting right into this game in the third term. His kick is high. Benson, courageous effort, couldn't take it. This allows his opponent in Panizza the run of the ball. He's well tackled by Whittlesey. Now Kim Russell over the top to Painter. Now let's see what Painter does with this. He has a good look. Decides to drive long. Wilmot from behind. Couldn't take it. Well read off hands by Toomey. And the Warriors get out of trouble with a long clearing kick by Chris Toomey. And that finds Alex Lund, but he dropped it. Now the ball punched forward. Whittlesey taps it on to Bill. Bill kicks out. Oh, it's not a good kick. He was looking for Smith, but it went straight to the big chap in Livis. He had an error. He tried to kick it off the ground, but he still got possession. Over to Parker, in turn to Panizza. Panizza playing a fine game. It's a wobbly kick, but it's been well taken by Andrew Taylor. Taylor's handball over to Templeton. Been a great player all day. In turn, his handball over to Schwarz. Schwarz kick on the way is hit the post. Well, that's the first time that's happened today. And the Warriors move on to 9-18. They've had most of the play. The Blues are on 6 goals, 8.
Yes, they've had all the play this term, the Warriors. The umpire's called the ball back in. A couple of players in the goal square as Reid went to kick, so quite rightly Laurie Argent's called the ball back.
Well, David, we saw Sturt last week. They trailed at every change, and they never seemed to have any control over the game, but they ended up winning it. Could it happen today?
Well, they're not out of it by any stage. They certainly have the ability to get back into this game. The Warriors are doing most of the attacking. It's been their running players that have done most of the damage. Haylock has been in outstanding form. Panizza is playing well on a wing. Kevin Harris roving has been instrumental in a lot of thrust forward, and Big Max Parker is starring in the ruck.
Ball to ground. In there is Underwood. A strong tackle by Kitschke, but it's a high tackle. And the free kick will go the way of Peter Schwarz. Well, he could possibly make the distance. He's about 60 metres out. Very acute angle. It's a drop punt kick. It falls short. Taylor massive leap. Couldn't take the ball. Well read by Heinrich. High tackle. The free kick will go the way of Peter Heinrich. Now Benson wants the ball out wide, and that's the position the ball's placed, and a fine diving mark taken by Matt Benson. He's got Painter in the middle. The ball goes in that direction. Painter looking for support. There's no one there. It's a left foot kick, and it's been well put towards Russell. Kim Russell drives long looking for Klomp. Klomp uses his body, then taps the ball forward, looking for Smith, picked up by Bill. Bill chips out a pass looking for Wilmot. Wilmot back towards Smith. Smith drives it long, looking for Delina. Front position, couldn't take it. Fantasia back there, and he'll be quite happy to see that one go over the line. And the Blues move on to 6 goals, 9, 45 points, trailing the Warriors 9-18, 72. And we've had a minute of time on in this third quarter.
Once again out there, we saw Robert Klomp getting an important tap forward. They don't show on the stats sheet. Almost gave the Double Blues an opportunity of scoring a goal. Whittlesey came through strongly. Took out Jolly. As Whittlesey couldn't understand why the umpire was upset at that.
Well, I call it was a crude tackle.
Certainly came through solidly. Warriors go forward. Andrew Taylor underneath that one. He gave McCarthy a nudge in the back. It's all there for you to see. Warriors are just giving the reason for the free kick. McCarthy short. Whittlesey in front of Ron Fuller. Fuller thought it was out of play on the full. Forward they go. Big mark from behind. It's Benson. There's been some outrageous marks taken today, but the umpire's taken that one off him.
Gee whiz.
Well, they're closer to the action than we are. I certainly had my eye on Benson. For mine it was a mark, but there must have been something there that we didn't see. Panizza really starring this third term. Goes forward. John Martin, who's also been a good player, pulls himself out of the mud. It's very difficult to kick from that angle, and a great mark taken there by Michael Templeton. He wastes no time, plays on very, very quickly. Back from eye, turn to field, now Russell. Short they go. Delina's underneath that one, manhandled by Lund. The free kick for around the shoulder. It's a bit of movement wide by Oti. That's the way Delina goes. Oti about 35 metres out. The angle's only slight, an opportunity of scoring his first goal of the game.
David, the breeze appears to have dropped, so he should be able to make the distance.
Yes, the breeze was very strong late in the first term and early in the second, but you're quite right, Kim, it has dropped. A good kick would certainly make the distance. That one, however, hasn't. Wilmot couldn't mark it. Toomey and Darryl Smith. Smith shot out the handball wide. Now an opportunity for Oti again. Delina has a snapshot at goal. It's not well placed, however. Just goes out of play as Alex Lund comes in and tries to gather the ball in. So we played 3.5 minutes into time on. 72 plays 45. The Warriors have a very handy lead.
Livers to do the ruck work opposed to Kitsky. Kitsky with the tap. Players go in pretty hard. Delina over towards Russell. Back to Delina again. Here's a chance for the Blues. Oh, he got underneath that one. It was more like a sandwich, that kick. Oh, he did not get any distance at all. So that could be the last opportunity for the Blues to score in this quarter. As I say that, Russell takes a mark. Over to Oti. There's Blues players everywhere. Oh, Delina, gee, nearly fumbled that. Have a look at the sigh of relief on his face. Now, the Blues had to do that. Just as I said, they lost their last opportunity to score. They now have the possibility to do just that. Delina yet to kick a goal. He would only be about 35 metres out, directly in front. And it's good. Well, that's a very handy goal to the Double Blues side. They now move on to 7-9-51 points. They trail Woodville by 21 points. They're on 9-18-72, and it could be an interesting last quarter.
Final quarter at Woodville Oval. The Warriors and the Double Blues. It's the Warriors by 21 points, but can the Double Blues get up like they did last week against West Torrens? Matt Benson grabs the ball. He dives into the mud. Jumping on top of him was Kevin Harris, and a ball up will take place. In fact, here at Woodville Oval this afternoon, there have been real ball ups. The umpires have thrown the ball in the air all day. Kitchkit was with the tap. Kevin Harris got the kick away. Now Painter, another telling kick forward. He gets those little quick kicks forward all the time for the Double Blues. Lund playing his 50th game, couldn't gather the ball in. Panizza a star. The kick is forward. Andrew Taylor underneath that one, but the free kick's downfield as Panizza was disposed of as he kicked the ball.
Silly play by Delina. Panizza had already dispatched that ball, and that was just frustration and possibly a little bit of inexperience and nothing else.
Fuller plays on quickly. The handball over the top to Templeton. His kick is long into the forward pocket. Ralph Sewell's under that one. Ralph couldn't quite gather it in. Now Nichols on the left foot. He goes goalward bound. Could he score? Oh, there's a mark in the goal square to Darren Grant. Picks it up, chips it through. First goal on the board this quarter to the Warriors. They now lead by 27 points.
Well, we saw last week Sturt with 28 points down 5 minutes into the first quarter, and they came back. Be interesting to watch what happens today, but well, we don't like to be too critical of anyone, but that down the ground free caused by Carl Delina was instrumental in Woodville kicking that goal, and I think, well, enough said about that.
27 points the margin. Can the Double Blues get back into this game? They stole one last week. John Painter, another telling kick forward. No one home at centre half forward, and Chris Toomey, who's done a good job on Robert Pomp, has the mark. Termy elects to go long. Underwood's underneath that one. Well contested by Andrew Taylor, but he's a big, strong boy, Underwood. He stood his ground. Now he plays on. Kicks towards centre-half forward. Lunn, the chest mark. Played a fine game off his half-back flank, Lunn. Now elects to come grandstand side. Panizza in front of Benson. They were evenly matched in the first half, but Panizza certainly had the better in the second half. Forward looking for Taylor. McCarthy in front. Taylor gathered the ball in, but he was tackled crudely by Kitschke. And now has the free kick for Taylor's knee. Kitschke, he's got up, and the umpire has seen the infringement. Laurie Argent hasn't missed much today. Certainly was a good decision. Kitschke looking to play on. Goes short. Benson using his body well. Panizza plays the ball in front of him, gets a quick kick forward, tugging the boundary line. In fact, it's gone a little bit close, and a little bit too close, out of play, in fact.
3 minutes gone in the final quarter. The Warriors 78 points, the Blues 51. And it's Kitschke with front possession. Parker with a tap, taken by Russell. Trying to get the handball to Heinrich. Whittlesey dives on top of that. In there working hard is Heinrich. So too is Schwarz. As we see the Blues making a change, Beale about to come off and Reynolds coming back onto the ground. Kitschke and Parker. Ball comes down to Haylock. Quick handball to Fuller. Fuller gets a clearing kick away. Sturt from behind. Goal! Ralph Sturt been paid. Well, you can see him setting himself for that mark. It was a fine mark. Taken over the top of David Iron. That's an equally as good passage of play. And the mark taken by Nichols. Nichols has 4 goals. I would suggest if he kicks this, the Blues will be in a lot of trouble. The wobbly kick, it's accurate. Front position there, and the mark, yes, it's been paid. Had to be paid, and that's been taken by McCarthy.
McCarthy's been a good player today at centre-half back. He's been minding Andrew Taylor all day, and he hasn't done a bad job. Taylor took a great mark in the third term, but that's about all he's done. In fact, he's taken 2 great marks, one in the second term, which he goaled from. Now Matt Benson through the glue pot at centre. Darren Grant courageously back on. He's taken a good mark under plenty of pressure from Whittlesey. He started the game slowly, Darren Grant, but certainly has been a fine contributor in the second half. Fuller also coming well into this game. Taylor from behind, got 2 hands for the ball, now called to play on. He shot off the handball to Harris. Harris will line up the goals. He blasts away from 15 metres out. That's his 3rd, Karen Harris. He's starring in a return to the Warrior lineup.
He certainly is. He had a great third quarter where he kicked 2 goals. Now he's posted his 3rd, and he's just getting better as this game goes on. And that goal was well set up by Ron Fuller and Andrew Taylor. The Blues in a little bit of bother. Woodville 84 points, the Blues 51.
33 points the margin. The Warriors have the lead. Double Blues aren't done yet, however. Reynolds, the big thump forward. Kitschke overran the ball. He's now playing at centre-half forward. They've made the move. Trying to get some mobility through that centre-half forward area. Klomp's done some good bullocking work. Reynolds and Parker. Tap came down to Jolly. Panizza, another kick forward. He's had a ton of kicks today. Underwood off his half-back was pushed as he disposed of the ball, so the free kick's downfield. Well, I think that one was as he kicked it. I don't know that it's a free kick downfield. No matter, it's only 5 or 10 metres the difference. Whittlesey, very short to Klomp, under plenty of pressure. He got the kick away. Benson tried to burst his way through, so too did Termy. Play on called the umpire, and now he has to ball it up, Laurie Argent. Desperate work from both sides. 11-18-84 the Warriors. Sturt 7-9-51, 33 points the lead. Haylock gathers the ball in off the ruck. He hasn't played a bad game today, Haylock. Conditions have suited him. It's been on the ground most of the day. Kevin Harris chips the ball a la Gaelic football in front of him. Now he conceded a little bit of ground to try and get the handball back to Grant, who was held but not in possession. That's the way the umpire calls it. And Darren Grant has the free kick at centre wing. Now long into the forward line. Nichols is out on the lead. He's up. He couldn't mark it. Ralphie Sewer punched it forward. Andrew Taylor picks up the crumbs. Now he'll spin around. He's looking for a man. He chips towards the edge of the goal square. Underwood's back there and has the mark for the double blues.
Fine mark by Underwood, and he plays on quickly. Gains valuable meterage. Now the kick out wide, looking for Smith. He couldn't take the mark. He's been a quiet player. Ron Fuller held. Laurie Argent comes in once again. Reynolds opposed to Parker. Reynolds with a big tap, and it's a good tap down towards Painter. Painter centres the ball to the centre-half forward position. Klomp tried for the big mark, couldn't take it. Delena recovers first. He's got Smith out wide, uses that player. Now Smith drives long. Back there is Klomp. Who's going to be there first? The ball bounces on. Bounces to the left of the goal post, so it's another minor score for the Blues. They move on to 7-10, trailing Woodville 11-18.
Well, Smith tried to fight and Klomp. It was just a little bit long for the centre-half forward, though. Now Rogers got nowhere to kick it to. Elects to go to the outer side. Max Parker now there in front of Reynolds. Reynolds thumped the ball clear. Schwartz picked up the handball. Quickly on to John Martin, who has a couple of bounces. He's got plenty of pace, this boy. He'll handball over the top to the running player in Darren Grant, who's really started in the second half. Now through into the full forward position he goes, dropping back on its reed, tumped away well, cleverly by Nichols, but he's given the free kick away as he infringed in doing so.
And Woodville have made a change. Robert Lynch has come onto the ground at the expense of Michael Templeton. Now the kick finds Whittlesey. Whittlesey drives long out looking for Kitsky opposed to Levis. Kitsky, fine mark, good body work, handle over the top, too far for Russell, but he should be able to... Oh no, he got an unlucky bounce. It wasn't a good handle by Kitsky, and once again the Blues attacking movers come unstuck due to some poor play and some good defensive work by Alex Lund.
Yes, Kim, I've been impressed with Lund's game today. He's 50th for the Warriors.
We'll put it this way, it's been a lot better than David Frost's 100th. As yes. Frost was being removed from the ground in the first half and yet to come back on.
Yes, it's one that Frost would like to forget, I think. Lunn, on the other hand, will certainly remember his 50th game. 15-metre penalty. John Martin knew that was a little undisciplined. Now the kick to Delena at centre-half forward. Breeze was strong in the first 3 quarters. It has died this final term. Delena's only 45 metres out, but with the wet ball and no breeze, distance may be just a trifle difficult. Went looking for Wilmot. Behind Wilmot was Klomp, who was pushed as he went towards the ball. And Klomp has the free kick in the forward pocket. Now a 15-metre penalty, just to make it a little bit easier. Now Robert Klomp has 1 goal in the second term. He's done a lot of bullocking work at centre-half forward. It's gone unnoticed. Certainly provides some space for the running Sturt players, however. Angle, you can see the distance, 5 metres, right through the middle it goes. That's Klomp's second goal. Double Blues now advanced to 8 goals 10, trailing the Warriors on 11 goals 18.
Yes, there's 26 points to difference, so there's still time for the Blues. And that was a blatant free kick to Robert Klomp as he was pushed square in the back. It was a good goal, and it gives the Blues supporters and their players just a little bit of hope.
Chris Termey's done a fine job on Robert Klomp today. 26 points now, the margin. The Double Blues certainly aren't out of this game yet. Reynolds pushes the ball forward. Kevin Harris has got better as the game's gone on. John Martin tackled, plenty of pressure. Kitschke bursts his way through. Now the handball to the running player in Moskeny. Moskany's been serviceable from his back flank today. Into the forward lines it goes. Rogers the big thump away. Smith now gathers the ball in. Tried to shoot off the handball to Moskeny. Moskeny back to Whittlesey, who can't control the ball. Now the kick into the forward pocket, Painter by himself. He'll have time to play on and line up the goals. That's the way he goes. Klomp doing the shepherding work with the ball. Unfortunately for the Double Blues, has hit the post. So a little unlucky for John Painter on that occasion. He hasn't scored a goal today, which is certainly rare for him.
Yes, and that would have been extremely handy. The deficit now 25 points. Rogers to bring the ball back into play. Sewers provided a lead, as to Fuller. He elected to kick towards Martin. Fuller picks up the crumbs, tries to weave his way through the pack. Now the ball comes out the direction of Whittlesey. Whittlesea with a handball wasn't good, but it's been well taken by Underwood. Underwood should drive long. He's tackled as he kicks, and that ball will go over the line. And another promising attack to the Blues.
Yes, we've got to give credit there to Underwood. He gathered the ball strongly, but we've got to give equal credit to Robert Lynch. He didn't give up the chase. And Underwood's a powerful kicker of the ball. He could easily have goaled had Lynch not made a little bit of ground to apply the tackle.
And the Warriors have made another move. John Martin off the ground and Templeton back on, and Templeton's been a star today. Ball down towards Sturt. Paddled that one through his legs, taken by Klump, which weaves his way through the pack. Handball over to Russell. Oh, yes, he's kicked another one. Great play, Robert Klump. And that's Russell's second goal. The Blues move on to 9 goals, 11, mounting a challenge here in this final term. Woodville 11-18, 84. The Blues 9-11, 66.
Well, Robert Klump was the architect of that goal. He does those clever little things, the bullocking work that often go unnoticed. That occasion he set up Russell for his second goal. The difference is now only 19 points. The Double Blues, could they make a charge? They did it last week. They trailed by 28 points at the 10-minute mark of the final term, and they defeated Torrens by 3 points.
In fact, it's 84, 4 points to 65 as Smith punches the ball forward. Odie off the deck. Fine mark. Oh, that's 10 metres on a Dutchman. But wasn't Judd Payne a call then? Now the kick goes in forward. Oh, clean bowls Rogers, but there's no one home for the Blues. Fantasia mops up, kicks out towards Panizza, and he takes a mark metres in front of his opponent in Benson.
I like the way this boy covers plenty of ground, Kim.
Well, he's an exceptionally good player. Well, he chances his arm straight across goal. The sun's in the eyes there of Templeton. That's a good spoil. Clumpy in there. He's lost his jumper. It's ripped completely. And fine clearing play by Chris Toomey. It's a high kick right into the mud there. Lynch front position. The ball hits the ground. Handball back to Sewer. Sewer weaves his way through once again. Kicks long, front position Reed. Nichols, in fact, did the spoiling. Taylor Grant. Muskeni back there. Couldn't take the ball. Reed applies another tackle to Haylock. In fact, it's been a free kick, but a play on advantage as Moskeni kicks a long one. Benson has to fly. Oh, and he's held without possession, and that was courageous play, Benson. Crowd coming alive here at Woodville Oval as the Blues mount their challenge. Big Reynolds thought about the handball. Now over the top to Whittlesea. Whittlesea turned to Payne. He's got time to steady. Tipped out a pass to Mark Wilmot. Gee, hasn't the game changed all of a sudden? 7th mark to Ian Wilmot. He's kicked 2 goals. It's a fair way out in these heavy conditions. Kick on its way. Once again, he's dragged it. But it's mark taken by Kitsky. Kitsky already has 1 goal. He kicked that in the second quarter. He's on a pretty acute angle. Saw Ron Fuller miss one from a similar position in the first quarter. Kick on its way. Oh, he's dragged it. It's gone to the left of the goalpost. So the Blues are 9-12, 66 points. Warriors 11-18, 84.
18 points now, the deficit. Had he kicked that, they would have only been down by 13 points. They have whatever breeze there is at Woodville Oval. It has died somewhat, however. Rogers looking for Kevin Harris, running through centre-half back. Scottfield did the sporting work. Benson through centre-half forward. He lines up the goals, lungs there for the Warriors, and takes a telling defensive mark. Been a great player off a half-back flank today. Now look at Klump. What a mark, Robert Klump. Oh, Lund's made the mistake of going short. Klump read it. He took off as Lund went to go at the ball, and Klump has the mark. Oh, and if he puts this through, won't this be an inspirational goal?
Oh, shades of yesteryear of Robert Klump.
Klump lines up the goal. Goal number 3 for him. Great play to Robert Klump. In fact, it's his second goal, but what a beaut. In fact, it is his third, and what a telling goal it was. Just what the Double Blues needed. We said earlier they weren't out of this game, and that just proves it.
Well, if that mark and that goal doesn't lift the Double Blues side, nothing will. Absolutely unbelievable effort by Robert Klump. He soared above the pack. Oh, and this game's coming alive. Great game of football.
16 minutes into the final term, 84 plays 72. It's the Warriors by only 12 points, and the Double Blues are on a march. Haylock, high into the air, it's covered no distance. Parker's under that, but they've paid him the mark. Must have gone 10 metres wide. It didn't go 10 metres long. Now out there is Michael Templeton, been a very good player today. Onto the left foot he goes. Ralph Sewers underneath that one, courageously punched away by Reynolds. Now Moschini, also a good player. He's run himself into trouble, however. The handball went wide to Painter. Back to Reid, the long kick out of defence. Underneath that one's Russell, who thumps it forward towards the boundary line. He had nothing else to do, and out of play. 16 and a half minutes of the final term, 12 points the difference. This game really heating up.
Certainly is. Max Parker, been a good player today. Dominated the rucks in the first half, wins another tap. Now it's Heinrich forcing his way through the pack. The handball over towards Whittlesey. The Blues on the run again. Over the top to Russell. Russell in turn, he thought about Smith. Now kicks the ball looking for Kitsky. Livis in there, spoils well. Smith bursts his way through the pack. Concedes about 15 metres to go back towards Painter. Painter grabbed without possession. Oh, tricky play, John Painter. He had nowhere else to go. Skillful play, John Painter. The kick out towards Whittlesey, and the ball's back where it started about 30 seconds ago. Oh, tried to kick around his body, and that's costly. I can't believe that from such a senior footballer. Did not give himself any room on the mark.
Well, Double Blues for the moment have lost a little bit of momentum. They're certainly playing inspired football in this final term. Warriors have a slender 12-point lead. They look comfortable winners early in this final term. Moschini, Ron Fuller cleverly taps it forward. Darren Grant long into the forward line. David I couldn't quite take the mark. He shovels it forward. McCarthy, the quick kick forward. Into the glue pot it goes at the centre field. Lunn tackled as he came through, holding the ball. He's a little bit unlucky, but it was a great tackle applied by Greg Whittlesey. Now Whittlesey, they need to get moving. It's not a well-placed kick. Heinrich does the tackling work. Now the umpires, a little bit of indecision there. They didn't know which way to go. Argent gets a push in the back to Panizza. Well, Panizza, for mine, made no attempt to dispose of that ball.
That's terrible. One umpire called it a ball up, and Laurie Argent ran in from 50 metres away and called it in the back.
Yes, you're right on that occasion, Kim. Lynch, Russell paddles it forward. Whittlesey and Jolly, a heavy collision. Now Argent will have a ball up. And you're quite right about that, Kim.
I tell you, if the Blues go down, he won't get off the oval.
Laurie Argent throws the ball in the air. Parker and Reynolds jostling. Underwood tried to burst his way through. He had nowhere to go. Now pushed to the ground, and another ball up will take place. Well, I think Laurie Argent, being the senior umpire, was left to make the decision.
Well, the decision had already been made, David, so he's been involved in some rather contentious issues this afternoon. The ball comes to ground. Benson and Panizza down there at the bottom of the pack. Mind you, I think in general his umpiring's been very good today. It's just been 3 decisions that really caught the eye of the crowd. Parker with a tap down towards Haylock. Thought about the handball. Finally got it over to Fuller. Now the Warriors set up some run. It's a good pass for Nichols. Yes, and that's a fine mark. Very good mark by Stephen Nichols. He lifted that ball front on. Took it at the second grab. Darren Grant provided the lead. Nichols with a towering torpedo punt. Up high was Taylor, taken by Darren Grant. Snapshot, soft line. Another minor score. Woodville 11-19-85. The Blues 10-12-72.
1 goal 3 to Darren Grant today. Certainly has played the half-forward flank a lot better as the game has worn on. 13 points the margin. Warriors going to be involved in a close one. Double Blues have done most of the attacking this final term. Panizza dropped the mark, but he has been a very good player today, as has Max Parker. Weaves his way through cleverly. Now he chips short on the leads. Nichols thumped away by Reid. Well done, Reid. Sewer the handball to Swartz. Swartz under plenty of pressure. Smith tackled strongly by Lynch, holding the ball must be. The way the decision goes. Robert Lynch, 65 metres out, holding the ball Now drives it long, looking for Taylor. Taylor doing some jostling work. He used his body well and took a strong mark. He just held off McCarthy with his right hand. He's taken his 6th mark, Taylor. He hasn't been a star today, but he certainly chipped in when the Warriors have needed him. Taylor lines up the goals. It's coming around at the last moment. That's right through the middle to Taylor. That's his 2nd goal for the day. And there's probably no more important goal than that one.
Certainly a very good kick. And that puts the Warriors 19 points in front. As we see Des O'Dwyer come onto the ground at the expense of Peter Schwarz. Yes, a fine mark taken by Taylor. Good body strength. Managed to manoeuvre McCarthy out of the way. And that was a very good kick from an acute angle. And 19 points, well, that just could be enough.
Might have been the goal that sealed it for the Warriors. They might thank Taylor at the end of this game. Kitschke back to Delina. Delina's tackled strongly by Peniza, now Fuller. Fuller's had the better of Whittlesey in the centre. Des O'Dwyer at centre half forward has the mark. Just onto the ground. He's looking to play on. Plenty of congestion in the Warrior forward line. Reynolds is back there. McCarthy also. Now Taylor onto the left foot. He goes. Could he goal this one? He can't. It's just offline and through for one behind. So 2 goals, 3 Andrew Taylor's tally today. As we said, he hasn't been a star, but he's been there when they've needed him.
The Warriors now with a 20-point advantage. Moskini to kick the ball to the grandstand side. He's looking for Reynolds. It's been taken by Delina. Delina kicks that ball, tried to centre it, getting it back towards Whittlesey. Whittlesey tackled by Lunn. In there is Kitschke, dives on top of it. Good work by the big chap. Some desperate work there as Fuller takes the ball. Benson in there as well. Fuller over the top. Fine play by Ron Fuller to keep the ball in the area.
Time running out for the Double Blues. We've had just on 19 minutes of the final term. It looked like they might have had an opportunity of getting up. Benson over the top of the ball. He's tripped, said the umpire. Now play on as Underwood gathers in the ball. They play the advantage. Double Blues pushing forward at every opportunity. Wilmot underneath that one at the back. It was Klomp. He can pick it up and run into an open goal. He handballed in front of him. Now he goes through strongly. Good work, Klomp. He tried to shovel it back towards Odie. He's not giving up, and neither's Chris Toomey. Good play, Toomey. Courageous work. He was one off against 3 Sturt players. He did it very well. Laurie Argent in the goal square, throws the ball in the air. Kitschke and Libis. Rogers the big dump away. It was nearly taken on the line by Darryl Smith. It goes through for one behind, however, and Rogers will now bring the ball back into play.
We've just hit time on in this final quarter. And it's the Warriors by 19 points. Rogers to bring the ball back into play. He kicks to the outer side, looking for Parker. Front position, Benson, and he takes a fine mark. And we want to get this ball in pretty quickly. I doubt whether he can score from there. Kitschke's back in the square, so there's a bit of height for him to aim at. It goes in that direction. Kitschke, oh, he got his hands to it, couldn't hold the mark. Now it's taken by Klomp as he tries to bullock his way through the pack, but Laurie Argent calls that a dead heat. And he'll throw the ball up about 15 metres out from the Sturt goal.
Into the air goes the ball. Levis it was with a tap down. John Painter was underneath that one. Now Templeton, great player for the Warriors today, heads towards the boundary line. That's good experienced play from the Ruck Rover. Wasting time now. We're about 45 seconds into time on. The Warriors now playing for time. Levis and Kitschke. Levis from behind got the tap. It went down to Kevin Harris. His kick was too wide, too high, and out of bounds on the full.
In fact, the Sturt trainer nearly took a fine mark there while sitting on his bucket. Delina brings the ball back into play. And the fine mark's been taken by Kitschke. Now, time's very important here. It's about 45 metres out. He has already kicked 1 goal to date. That one's not going to make the distance. Klomp tried to use his body to take a mark, couldn't do so, so there's 18 points in this game, 3 straight kicks.
They've still got enough time, the Double Blues, if they're good enough. They ran home in a close one to West Torrens last week. They got up by only 3 points. They've still got an opportunity of doing that today as Rogers kicks to himself and plays on wide. Haylock's on the lead and has the mark. Closely attended by Kim Russell, number 12. Haylock, grandstand side. Rogers underneath that one. He set himself. He couldn't quite bring the ball down. Delena out wide to the runner in Smith. He can pick up the ball. He concedes ground with a handball to Heinrich. Heinrich goes deep into the forward line. Underneath that one was Whittlesey, thumped away from behind by Lunn. Now Painter shoveling it out wide. Field for the Double Blues, high into the forward line. Wilmot back there, one hand to it, couldn't take it. Now Fantasia evading the tackle. Cross ground they go. Fuller couldn't gather it in. Now Delena, who was looking for Clont with the handball, intercepting was Termy. Now Delena shoots out another handball. Oti back to Delena in the 1-2. He has a shot at goal. It's not coming around, however, and through for one behind. And Kim had some of those shots gone for goal. It would have been a lot closer game.
Well, especially that shot of John Painter earlier in this quarter when he hit the post. That would have been very handy. There's 17 points in this game now, but I think time is running out for the Blues. That kick out towards Smith, and he takes a fine mark. Darryl Smith, about 55 metres out, will take a magnificent kick to goal from here. Drop punt's on its way. We'll go to the head of the square. Clont there, fine mark, Robin Clont. Oh, he's kicked 3 goals to date. And I would say he would definitely kick this goal. And if he kicks this, there will be 11 points in this game, but I would say there'd only be about 90 seconds remaining. He's kicked the goal, that's his 4th. There's 11 points in this game, and we've had 28.5 minutes of this final quarter.
Well, you'd have to say that Robert Clomp has got on top of Chris Termy. Termy was certainly on top in the first 2.5 quarters. Robert Clomp, 3 goals in this final term. There's perhaps one honours on the day. 4 goals from centre-half forward to Clomp. Time certainly is running out for the Double Blues. They trail by only 11 points. A quick goal from the throw up here at centre field would make the difference only 6, 5 in fact, and they'd be an opportunity to win.
Reynolds, Parker got the tap. It's taken by Parker though, and that's the winning possession as the ball comes out towards Templeton. Templeton thought about chancing his arm. Now the ball comes back to McCarthy. Odie in there, so too is Parker. Heinrich works hard for the ball. Just getting back to Robert Clomp. He in fact has played this last quarter from the forward pocket. And Big Kitsky's gone out to centre-half forward, so it's been a good move by Merv Kane. Parker again. Warriors bottling up play. They lead by 11 points. We've had 29 minutes of this final quarter. It's been an entertaining match and a fine comeback by the Blues. Fuller with the ball, well pressured. In fact, that's holding the ball. The Blues play on quickly. Moschini over towards Smith. Smith flanked by Heinrich. He uses that player. Heinrich gets rid of it now. And there's the zone. There's the game at Woodville Oval. The Warriors, 12 goals, 20. They led from go to woe, 92 points. The Blues valiant in defeat, 11 goals, 15, 81. A great game of football at Woodville Oval.